All right, here we go for our next chapter of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Last chapter we read was chapter 7, and in that chapter we found out that Charlie did not find a golden ticket in his birthday chocolate bar, which was really disappointing for him. He was so hoping that he got a golden ticket. Chapter 8 is called 2 More Golden Tickets Found. So we know from other chapters that 2 have already been found. So this would make 4 that are found, and that means 1 is left after we find out who found these 2. All right, so let's get reading. That evening, Mr. Bucket's newspaper announced the finding of not only the 3rd golden ticket, but the 4th as well. 2 golden tickets found today, screamed headlines. Only 1 more left. All right, said Grandpa Joe when the whole family was gathered in the old people's room after supper. Let's hear who found them. The 3rd ticket, read Mr. Bucket, holding the newspaper up close to his face because his eyes were bad and he couldn't afford glasses. The 3rd ticket was found by Miss Violet Beauregard. There was great excitement in the Beauregard house when a reporter arrived to interview the lucky young lady. Cameras were clicking and flash bulbs were flashing and people were pushing and jostling and trying to get a bit closer to the famous girl. And the famous girl was standing on a chair in the living room, waving the golden ticket madly at arm's length as if she were flagging a taxi. Here's a picture of her. She was talking very fast and very loudly to everyone, but it was not easy to hear it all because she was chewing ferociously upon a piece of gum at the same time. I'm a gum chewer normally, she shouted, but when I heard about these ticket things in Mr. Wonka's, I laid off the gum and switched to candy bars in the hope of striking lucky. Now, of course, I'm right back on gum. I just adore gum. I can't do without it. I munch it all day long, except for a few minutes at mealtimes when I take it out and stick it behind my ear for safekeeping. Oof. To tell you the honest truth, I simply wouldn't feel comfortable if I didn't have that little wedge of gum to chew on every moment of the day. I really wouldn't. My mother says it's not ladylike and it looks ugly to see a girl's jaw going up and down like mine does all the time, but I don't agree. And who's she to criticize anyway? Because if you ask me, I say that her jaws are going up and down almost as much as mine are just from yelling at me every minute of the day. Now, Violet, Mrs. Beauregard said from a far corner of the room where she was standing on the piano to avoid being trampled by the mob. All right, Mother, keep your hair on, Miss Beauregard shouted. And now she went on, turning to the reporters again. It may interest you to know that the one piece of gum I'm chewing right now at this very moment is one I've been working on forever. 3 months solid. That's a record, that is. I beat the record held by my best friend, Miss Cornelia Prince-Medal, and she was mad. It's my most treasured possession now, this piece of gum is. At nights, I just stick it on the end of the bedpost, and it's as good as ever in the mornings. A bit hard at first, maybe, but it soon softens up again after I give it a few good chews. Before I started chewing for the world record, I used to change my piece of gum once a day. I used to do it in our elevator on the way home from school. Why the elevator? Because I like sticking that gooey piece that I just finished with onto the elevator buttons. Ooh. Then the next person who came along and pressed the button got my old gum at the end of her finger. Ha ha! And what a racket they kicked up, some of them. You get the best results with women who have expensive gloves on. Oh yes, I'm thrilled to be going to Mr. Wonka's factory, and I understand that afterwards he's going to give me enough gum to last me for my whole life. Whoopee! Hooray! Beastly girl, said Grandma Josephine. Despicable, said Grandma Georgina. She'll come to a sticky end one day chewing all that gum. You see if she does it. And who got the 4th golden ticket, Daddy? Charlie asked. Now, let's see, said Mr. Bucket, peering at the newspaper again. Ah, yes, here we are. The 4th golden ticket, he read, was found by a boy called Mike TV. Another bad lot, I'll be bound, muttered Grandma Josephine. Don't interrupt, Grandma, said Mrs. Bucket. The TV household, said Mr. Bucket, going on with his reading, was crammed like all the others, with excited visitors when our reporter arrived. But young Mike TV, the lucky winner, seemed extremely annoyed by the whole business. Can't you fools see I'm watching television? He said angrily. I wish you wouldn't interrupt. The 9-year-old boy was seated before an enormous television set, with his eyes glued to the screen. He was watching a film in which one bunch of gangsters was shooting up another bunch of gangsters with machine guns. Oh boy. Mike TV himself had no less than 18 toy pistols of various sizes hanging from belts around his body, and every now and again he would leap up in the air and fire off a dozen rounds from one of these toy weapons. Here he is, glued to his TV with his toys. "Quiet," he shouted when someone tried to ask him a question. "Didn't I tell you not to interrupt? This show is an absolute whiz-banger. It's terrific. I watch it every day. I watch all of them every day, even the crummy ones, when there's no shooting. I like the gangsters best. They're terrific, those gangsters, especially when they start pumping each other or kicking up dust. Oh boy, what I wouldn't give to do that myself. It's the life, I tell you. It's terrific." "That's quite enough," snapped Grandma Josephine. "I can't bear to listen it." "Nor me," said Grandma Georgina. "Do all children behave like this nowadays? Like these brats we've been hearing about?" "Of course not," said Mr. Bucket, smiling at the old lady in bed. "Some do, of course. In fact, quite a lot of them do. But not all." "And now there's only one ticket left," said Grandpa George. "Quite so," sniffled Grandma Georgina. "And just as sure as I'll be having cabbage soup for supper tomorrow, that ticket'll go to some nasty little beast who doesn't deserve it." Whew. Now we're on to chapter 9, called Grandpa Joe Takes a Gamble. Wow, so a lot happened in that chapter. We met 2 of the winners of the golden ticket. We met Violet Beauregard, who chews her gum crazy, and that's really all she cares about, and she's loud and annoying, and disrespectful too. And then we also met Mike TV, who's also pretty disrespectful, and all he cares about is his television. So like the grandparents were saying, not the brightest kids, not the kindest kids. They kind of seem like brats, right? So now there's only one ticket left. So we will have to continue reading to see what happens. My prediction for this chapter, Grandpa Joe takes a gamble. That means he's going to do something that's a little risky. So I wonder what could happen in chapter 9. Thanks for reading today. We will come back tomorrow for our next chapter. Have a great day, guys.